Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Combatants Will Be Dispatched, which was a recommendation by CJ and Ace from Anime Anonymous.
Of course it was.
And on top of that, speaking of Anime Anonymous, yours truly appeared on their episode about Bubble, which is an episode that we actually recently did ourselves. And CJ asked me if I would happen to just pop on and review the anime with them, and I did. Had a great time. You wanna check it out? Anime Anonymous on all the podcast catchers. And on top of that, before we were also talking about all of the other shows and an interesting fetish, one might say. But if you want to catch a part of that wider conversation or get an ad-free experience, patreon.com/featured anime podcast, $1 a month will get you access to the bonus content or to the core show without any ads. Now, on to the meat and potatoes. Combatants Will Be Dispatched came out in April 2021, ran all the way through June 2021. It's 12 episodes long. Producer for it is Kadokawa. Studio for it is J.C.Staff. It's based off of a light novel. Genres are action, comedy, fantasy, and Isekai. And I would honestly probably sprinkle in a little bit of ecchi, a little bit of fan service, because it did have it in there.
Just a little?
Just well, you know what? It wasn't as much as No Game No Life.
I'm sorry, what?
There wasn't as much as No Game No Life. No Game No Life had entire bathhouse scenes that you had to have Steam for. This really didn't have that.
Okay. I'll accept that. I was gonna be like, did we watch the same show? Did I watch the wrong show?
Yeah, no. There was fan service, just not as much
in every episode
or as prevalent as No Game No Life.
Okay.
I feel like you're having trouble comprehending it.
I am. I really am. Because I guess I haven't seen No Game No Life in a while, but I didn't think ripping panties down and groping random people and somehow magically being able to draw your zipper down using no hands and potentially putting a top knot on another gentleman. I figured that was kind of...
Yeah, I'm not saying that those weren't weird. I'm just saying that you didn't have entire large scenes and sections where it was just like everyone's hanging out in a bathhouse completely naked, and you have like mysterious steam showing up for whatever reason.
Being convenient.
Right?
Okay, I'll give you that.
Speaking of panties dropping, I mean, like, the dude literally mathematically figured out how to shoot off his sister's panties in No Game No Life versus here. I mean,
Fair.
So I mean, like, pick your poison, take your choice.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying there was nothing in No Game No Life. I felt like this was treading carefully on like soft hentai.
No, not even close. Treading on soft hentai would be like High School DxD.
Okay.
Right. But they do this anime, this show, Combatants Will Be Dispatched. Basically is, I mean, like, it is an isekai in every sense of the word, in that our main protagonist, Roku, gets sent to a new world with an android, Alice.
Yeah. And
so their whole purpose, their job, is to prep the world and already start making a headway for the evil organization, Kisaragi, to come there and take over after they're finished taking over Earth.
Yeah, that's correct. For resources, I believe, is what they were trying to say, for food and water.
Yeah, for general resources. And I mean, like, I'm sure that there's more to it than just that. But
there probably is. But to send off what you consider to be a core member on a suicide mission, however many light years from Earth, with a 100% success rate, mainly because he's test subject 01.
Well, let's clarify. the 100% success rate was for the teleportation device that they were using. They probably tested it once, it worked that one time, and so it was 100% success rate. So they threw him in there, and away he went.
See, I automatically assumed that they didn't test it. He was just the first one, and they're like, "Yeah, it's got 100% success rate. The more we try, the less likely it is going to be 100%."
Right.
But they still have no problem sending guns through. They still have no problem sending trucks through, tents.
Well, I mean, like when you're sending objects through it versus life, it just makes it a little bit easier because
I imagine
because you don't have to worry about as much for it. I would assume. However, I do like the fact that he was chosen more so because of
chance
by a dice roll.
Now, unlucky as that might be, everyone who had the option to go, there was 4 people there, and they're all like, well, 1 to 2 is me, 3 to 4 is you, 5 is you, and 6 is him. They rolled a 6 several times.
Yeah.
And that was their we trust you implicitly. It was a hard decision to make, but we're going to send you flashback. Come on, lucky 5.
Right. I mean, like, that's just really sad though, too, at the same time that they did that. However, I believe that the creator for this is the same as Konosuba, if I'm not mistaken.
It would need to be. It would for all the crap going on, it would definitely need to be related in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, like, they do make a lot of innuendos. Well, not just innuendos, but a lot of references, like explosion.
Yeah.
when he shows up and they mention magic, he's like, magic, okay.
Yeah.
And then they have their own version of Konosuba too for the manga at the same time.
God, she was gorgeous. That was awesome. Like, they did really good jobs with the artwork here.
They did.
Now, did you watch it subbed or dubbed? Because I tried both and I prefer dubbed.
I watched it subbed. I only watched it dubbed and all the way through dubbed because I'm a or not dubbed. Sorry, subbed. Watched it subbed all the way through subbed because I'm lame like that.
You're a purist. No, I was gonna say, you're like, I watched it subbed. I watched all the way dubbed and only dubbed. I'm like, oh,
right. Yeah, sorry.
My brain can't do that math.
I mean, like, it doesn't help that that this anime itself was also a little off.
Well, not just that. This whole anime essentially was every trope you can think of played to the extreme. Not stupidity, but it's like silliness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dude had, in order to get stuff, he was given an allowance because he's got a chip in his head.
It's not that he's given an allowance. He's given evil points because they're a part of an evil organization, and you have to do evil things to get evil points. So that way you can, perch or have things teleported to you or sent to you when you're in need of them, regardless of what it is.
When you have enough of a balance.
Right. And now you can go negative and you're just basically indebted and they're alluded to you being punished.
The only thing I can think to be punished, because there was no physical ramification, there was really no detriment. But I did notice that it took a lot more effort to get out of the negative than it did to grow the fortune.
Well,
I'm thinking.
I feel like that has to do more so with him.
Very well could be. But for some reason, I was thinking that when you went negative, let's say you have a 1-to-1 comparison. 1 evil deed equals 1 point. You go 120 points negative, they equate to 4 evil for 1 point. So it's much, much more difficult to, I guess, come back from a negative deficit. Does that make sense?
I guess.
Because, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Because what's more, so he gets currency, he gets points for every evil deed he does. If he gropes somebody inappropriately and they're offended by it, they get copious amounts of points for that.
Right.
The worst offense, the more evil it is, the more points you get. Dude put his dick on top of a dude who was bald, like on top of his head when he was sitting on a crown. And he goes, "Look, I gave him a top hat or top knot."
Yeah.
And after that, he had a room full. I'm talking like, all the higher ups in this whole kingdom were at this party. And he does that in front of everyone, talking over 100 people. And after that, he's still negative 129 points. So
I don't remember them specifying how many points he was still negative.
Yeah, there was like one small scene. I'm good with numbers. There was a small scene where it showed negative 129. They're like, look at your points. Oh, I've got 129. Look again. Negative 129.
Well, it was negative 190. If you're going to be good with numbers, at least get the number right. But that wasn't the point at which he was negative either. It was.
Ooh, shots fired. I'm going to have to look it up. Because I'm 99% sure it was 129. Bring that bad boy back up here.
And anyways, it's not a 1-to-1 either. It's I feel like the level of evil deed will grant an X amount of points. Now, it's also should be said that he has said numerous times that he is the weakest of the people. Like, he's been there the longest, but he's also the weakest because he spends all his points on porn mags.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that shit's hilarious.
That's just sad is what that is. It's not hilarious. It's just
so
sad. It's like everyone else that's been there, like not even a fraction of the time, is probably stronger, faster, better than him, probably gets paid more, moved up in ranks and everything like that. And this fool, all he does is just spend all his hard-earned money or hard-earned points on porn mags. Like, and nothing else.
So you need that relief, man.
I guess.
I mean, you got to figure this man, his whole story arc is him being horny and him making sure he doesn't die.
Well, that and being, it's all about that money, you know?
Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to die, starvation, otherwise, whatever.
I mean, he wants anything he can do, however he can do it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll give him credit though. At least he's not the scummiest of evil guys, right? He does like everyone just kind of looks at him like, bro, are you really going to do that? That's pretty low, but that's pretty shady or whatever. When he suggests things or when he does certain things, that gives him points. And it's not that he's just the only guy that does this, because you're actually introduced to another character later on, Tiger Man.
Where the hell did he come from, by the way?
He was sent there.
By who?
By the Kisaragi Corporation.
Why did I think they were going to send 17 and 19 instead of Tiger Man?
You mean 18, 19? Because sure. 18 and 19, in case you didn't know, 18 and 19 are the hero, and the guy that was fighting that got after the random teleportation, they were the ones that appeared on Earth. So that's where they got that's where they got teleported to.
How did I miss that?
I don't right. It's funny because they talk about it, and then after the credits, they're like, yeah, these two people, one smells like a mutant, the other one smells like a hero, you know, obvious definitions right there, appeared on my lawn fighting. And so I decided to take them in and make them a part of the corporation. And then they appear again later on towards the end with the two of them still fighting. And they specifically are told, stop playing the chosen one when they were fighting. And they both get scolded for them doing what it is. So basically, and they make reference to like the hero arc, or, you know, the whole Isekai chosen one type thing. He's chosen. So he gets
a lot of references.
Yeah.
A lot of references.
He gets chosen. And then he goes through his training arc and comes back even stronger and ends up winning and everything like that. Well, he lost twice. And because Homeboy is there, they basically kind of throw everything off from the normal story arc from how it normally is.
But I like the fact that he thought he was the chosen one at first. He's like, And they're like, yeah, a mark comes on your hand, and that's how you know. And he's like, well, I got a mark right here. And then everyone's horrified. He's like, what? Am I just too awesome? They're like, no, you should be dead. That's a deadly disease. And he goes, huh. The nanites are doing their job. Puts the glove back on. That's the last time you hear of it.
Yeah. And well, in terms of the bug and the insect, but yeah, it is pretty awesome. But again, bringing it back to Tiger Man, I mean, like in terms of evil organization, like that dude is something else.
Yeah, he was saying he would give up his furry balls for a wish to be a little girl because he wants to be a little girl.
Well, not just that. He loves little girls. He loves children, little ones. He loves kids. Creepily, pedo status.
Correct. Yes.
And I'm happy and I'm sad. I'm like happy and sad. One, I'm happy that everyone else, including our main protagonist, when they look at him, when they see that, they also realize like, bro, that's just dirty and creepy. Like that's pretty nasty, you know?
I do.
So I'm glad that you know everyone kind of sees it for what it is, but then at the exact same time they also use that to their advantage later on. They're like trying to cut a deal with one of the demons that they caught, or the enemy. It's like, hey, all you have to do is this, and you just have to do this one thing. And he's like, no, I'm never gonna do it. It's like, all right, well, I tried giving you an easy way out. Now we're gonna pawn you off to the pedo, and you should have taken my deal.
They always try to, they always try to give you the easy way out. And then when you say no, it's the most messed up, still PG version of a torture.
Yes. Yeah. And
the little kid you were talking about is like, I'm a boy. And the tiger says something to the effect of, that's even better.
Like, yeah, that doesn't matter to me. You'll still look good in this skit dress. It's like, and I love their response to it too. It's like one of the mottos is like, if you switch sides, switch fast, switch quick, and take the first deal you can get. That's going to be beneficial.
Yeah. No, they're all very practical. Everything's resolved in I would say a decent manner. As far as practicality goes. Case in point, when they were in the desert, he was doing just enough evil deeds to get a tent. Just enough evil deeds to get the bare minimum of water, kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And
then he ends up getting into an altercation with one of his underlings, let's call them, and they're like, I want to eat you. And it's the dialogue and the dynamic is really, really funny because it takes him a full like 4 interactions before he's like, oh, she means like food consume me. So, well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And then they have a huge fight over it, which for some reason racks him a crap ton of points.
Because he's beating the tar out of a girl. That's why. He's getting the points because he's beating her up.
Huh. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Like
I thought maybe he was getting like he was groping or something like that in like, in the middle of the fight.
He could have very well been doing that the whole time. You don't know that. I mean, I just assume I went with the assumption of him getting the tar beaten out of him, or him beating the tar out of her. I also like the fact that she doesn't remember any of that happening because apparently she was just so hungry she blacked out.
Here's my biggest secret. Don't forget. What was that? Would you mind repeating that?
Right.
I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. But one of the main reasons I like this main character was all of his flaws. He was a very single-tracked mind person. And they're like, we're going to send you to another planet. The furthest we've gone is the moon. But with this teleportation device, we can send you far, far away. And his first answer was something to the effect of, well, shit, if I knew that, I'd be wearing my best damn suit. And I'd have you guys send me with a Bible to essentially convert people. Convert people to his cause,
Right. Send them with the rule, with the book, send them with the resources and everything like that. And instead he's just sitting there by himself and everyone's like, don't worry, bro. We got you. You're going to be okay. And secretly, I just want you to know that I care about you deeply, and this was a very hard decision for us. Very hard decision for us.
With a roll of the dice.
Like,
with a roll of loaded dice at that.
Right.
And then he's like, but can't you just send me to what do you say? So in the dub, it was Titsylvania. He wants to go to a planet that has Titsylvania. Basically just like Titsapalooza. Nothing but boobs everywhere. That was his whole character, and I'm so happy he didn't.
Yeah, no, him being a perv was just the mainstay, the constant throughout the thing, and it wasn't him being a super creepy perv or anything like that. I mean, like he was a creepy perv, but not Tiger Man status creepy perv.
Yeah,
which honestly would have killed the whole show for me if he ended up being like that. Instead, he was just a normal perv, and it's like, okay, I can get with that. And it does have its funny moments, especially when one of the scenes that I found particularly funny was Snow. He borrows her sword.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I love the fact that when the sword breaks, and then he goes, yeah, your sword went on a trip to find its new master, and she immediately buys into it. Like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I obviously would know that I'm the true master, that I am the master of it, and he's like, oh, your sword just came back and it's dying, and she's like, oh, this is really sad. Why?
In the dub, he says, your sword gained sentience and went on a mission to find its true master. And she's like, but it's me.
I paraphrased is what I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna go through the whole literal sentence, man. It's like he tells the story. This is what happens. Your sword goes off, tries to find its master, comes back, it's broken, it's dying, and she's crying because it's every sword that she ends up getting has like it progresses like from 1 year to 2 year, 3, 4, 5 year loan all the way for each sword. Like, holy smokes, you're buying all these swords and they're just being destroyed left and right.
Pretty much. It's either she's up against someone who is not her magic match, meaning she has an ice sword and she goes up against a fire demon, and she's like, well, I put this sword away because that's on a 4-year loan. It's on got paid back kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for someone who is so obsessed about status and obsessed about wealth, she's broke all the time.
Yeah, she is broke all the time,
but she's honest. She's honest, which is nice.
She plays people.
I say that. Well, I say that she's honest because when she went to give the bonus or the gold to them to our main protagonist and Alice, she didn't take any. She could have skimmed some off the top, but she didn't.
Well, she keeps talking about her honor as a knight too for a majority of it, and that is a constant topic that comes up. Like, are you really okay with this? You're a knight. And that's when she starts questioning herself, because they do give her a backstory. They do talk about where she came from, her background and everything like that. So that way you can kind of gain an understanding of how she is and why she is obsessed with money and status.
I mean, it's very much like Konosuba.
Yes. So
it's super funny. Highly recommend it. I watched the first episode dubbed, of course, with a buddy of mine who is very, let's call him picky, very picky. Loves Fire Force, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hates Promare. I'm like, why do you hate Promare? And he goes, it's not the story. It's just something about the story. I'm like, that makes no sense. So he really liked this one. He liked the opening, and
setup has a big play on it. Setup has a very big play on it.
So it took me years to get him into like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. He was always into Dragon Ball, but he was like, I'm not. And now I swear, if it wasn't for restraint and potential embarrassment, he'd be wearing cosplay, going to these things, going to the San Diego Comic-Con, going to the New York Comic-Con. He's that type of person.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. Well, for him specifically, he'd never live it down. just because of how he's been, how crucial, how critical he's been over the course of a few years that I've known him. But even he likes this one, and it's funny, it's entertaining, and the best part is, and I don't know if it was on purpose. I hope it was, because this will make so much sense, or at least it would track with the story, or with the story. It has an ending that isn't an ending.
That is true. that is 100% true. That is 100% true.
Is that it? And then bum the end. You're like, oh.
Well, as far as I know, the manga is still coming out. There's still.
Well, I think there's. I think it's still going out, but I also think there was an OVA we didn't watch somewhere, because when I was looking it up online, they're like, oh yeah, OVA 2020 something. I was like, oh, possibly, but I'm not going to watch that yet.
Well, I mean, if there is an OVA, I don't think it's been released yet. I don't think. I mean, like, this literally came out about a year ago.
Oh, so it's fairly new.
Yeah, this came out in 2021. Do you not listen when I say it?
No, I just sorry. So for me, when you go through the stuff like that, I listen to it. It makes sense, and then I forget it halfway through when we're talking, because I keep the way that I remember stuff. I remember images. I don't know if you do the same, but like, I play videos back in my head, which is why sometimes I go off on a tangent and then lose where I'm at.
Right.
Because like the video stopped and I was like, where was I at? Crap.
Right. Yeah. No. So yeah, this came out in 2021.
This would be kind of a pain in the butt to try to watch weekly.
Week. Yeah.
Yeah. Because while they don't leave it off on a cliffhanger, they
don't exactly leave it with.
Yeah. They don't always end the episode.
Yeah.
So it would feel very odd. But if you binge it's not very nice. It is also nice because it fits, it flows, it's perfect. Some things happen off screen that it seems inconsequential, but they make it a main part of the story.
Yeah.
So.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a good spot for a rating. How about you?
You have a point. I think it's a decent spot.
All right. So on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
Can I rate it categorically or just overall?
Overall.
Overall, it's not going to be as good.
What we want, man. We want the full male. We want the whole thing. All right?
You want the top knot.
I don't want the top knot, but
I'm afraid this is going to start a trend between you and I, but I'm going to give it an 8. Solid 8.
Okay.
Anime style was on point. Comedy was pristine. Yeah. I do recommend it to as many people as possible. It does have its flaws, ending being part of it. Yeah, I'm comfortable with an 8. What about you?
I'm going with a 7. Solid right. 7. Comedy was great. The story was solid. I did not like the fact that the ending was open. Tiger Man really kind of detracted it from it a lot for me. That's how creepy it was. Although I can appreciate how they were able to tie it in and maintain that all the way through. And he didn't play a larger role than what he did. So that really made me happier with it. And they played to his creepiness and everyone still being generally disgusted, which really kind of helped it out. But for those main reasons is why I'm going with a 7. But it was still a solid show to watch.
Fair. I'd do it again. I mean, I might try the subs this time, all the way through. But yeah, the dubs were just comedy, pure, unaltered comedy.
Oh, the subs were the same way. The subs were great. So you're not going to hear any complaints from me on that.
Great.
All right. Next week,
right.
It's going to be a movie, and it's Maquia, When the Promised Flower Blooms. I don't know. Okay. I know you're going to ask me what it's about.
You saw it. You saw it in my eyes. You saw it in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know. I know nothing. I know nothing about anything that ever comes up. You should know this unless it's something I have seen before. I know nothing.
I think you might have seen it before. You're like, it's a slice of life. You gonna cry.
No, if it was that, I would definitely let you know. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Goodness, man.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for taking the time and listening. If you feel like we got something right, something wrong, did it too much justice, not enough justice, just plain old got a lot wrong with it, feel free to let us know. You can reach out to us at featuredanimepodcast@gmail.com, at those anime guys on Twitter, Featured Anime Podcast on Facebook. If you want to get the core show ad free or listen to the pre-show and the post-show that we sometimes do, patreon.com/featured anime podcast. $1 a month will get you access to the content or ad-free show. It'll also help support us, help us grow. If you want to buy yourself some swanky swag, shop.featuredanimepodcast.com. Or if you choose to buy this week's choice, we do have a couple of affiliate links for you in the description. If you do buy using that affiliate link, we do get a little bit of a kickback, and we would very much appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick. We'll see you next time.